What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Fix It Garage and the ultimate Tundra build. In the last video, you guys saw us get the cab and everything off of our original frame, and I was able to show you guys just how damaged the frame was. We also went ahead and got our gas tank and the engine out of the frame so we can swap parts over to our new used frame. So leading up to this video, we went and we picked up a used frame for our 2013 Toyota Tundra, which is always a very huge risk buying anything used that's, structural like a frame because, well, usually there's a reason that it's in a wrecking yard. But we went and we got a used frame for the truck. And once we got that used frame, it was time to start swapping everything over from the old frame to our new one. But of course, this is Fix It Garage. We're not just gonna swap over every single part and not make any improvements. No. We are going to follow our standard of upgrading and improving. So as we begin to swap our parts over, we're of course going to be making a bunch of upgrades, which I will be showing you guys as we get them done. So let's go ahead and let's jump right in to where we left off in the last video.
Alrighty, so we've got the frame sitting over on our second lift. That is going to be the best place to put it in order to do our frame swap. And the first thing that we need to do is we need to get that exhaust off, which, because it is some aftermarket welded together exhaust, it is easier said than done. As you're about to see, the exhaust, well, it doesn't exactly want to come out because the differential's in the way and it is all one piece. Word of advice, if you build an aftermarket exhaust, please do not weld it all together and make it one piece because then you can never remove it.
Before we get too far into the ultimate Tundra build, I want to interrupt today's video to remind you guys that I am now streaming on Twitch and YouTube. I've got links down below to my Twitch channel. Be sure to go check them out when I go live. I'm streaming 2 to 3 days a week. YouTube's going to be our racing video games and Twitch is going to be everything else. I also plan on doing some just chatting live streams on YouTube, so be sure to have on that notification bell so you guys don't miss when I go live. Now let's get back into the ultimate Tundra build.
All right, so as you just saw, we had to remove the rear end in order to get the exhaust out. Less than ideal, but because we're doing a frame swap, it needed to come off anyway, so it all kind of worked out. Now it's time to move on to the front, which in theory should be a lot more straightforward than having to pull the rear end out to get the exhaust off, but as always, not everything went to plan. We found out that there were a few rusty bolts that were kind of a pain to get out, including the sway bar bushing bolts. We had to get very creative in order to get those out. Otherwise, it honestly wasn't really that bad tearing the whole front end of this off. It really is just nuts and bolts and remembering where everything goes and staying organized. And just like that, the old frame is stripped and ready to be moved away. We got a little creative using a floor jack and some dollies to roll the frame out of the way, making room for our new used frame, which has a nice fresh coat of black paint on it, making it at least look new. However, it is definitely not new and is hiding a lot of secrets, but more on that later. Right now, we got the frame on the rack and we're ready to start installing parts, but first, we need to upgrade that rear end. It's time to upgrade the rear end, and what we're going to be doing to it is removing these lift blocks and adding an add-a-leaf, some Fox shocks, and some upgraded brake rotors and pads to help with stopping this truck once we supercharge it. Alright, I'm going to pause the video right here because I need to tell you guys, please do not try what I am doing at home. For context, what I'm doing is I am it's trying to bolt the leaf spring pack together with the new add-a-leaf. And me being very unintelligent, I forgot to bring the right size clamps and C-channel clamps to clamp the leaf pack back together in order to install the bolt. So I got the bright idea of, hey, I'll just put all of my weight on the leaf pack while it sits on top of the differential, and I'll put the top nut on. It worked, but it was very dangerous and very dumb of me to do. Please use the proper tools when you're installing a leaf pack back together. Otherwise, you could seriously hurt yourself. Now let's go ahead and let's get back into the clip of us installing all the upgrades on the rear end. With the rear end upgraded, it was time to move on to the front of the truck. Because of that exhaust, the rear end is the last thing that can go onto this frame. So I figured let's start at the front. And our upgrades on the front of the truck are some new Fox shocks, some new upper control arms that I cannot remember the name of for the life of me right now. We had some OEM spec lower control arms and also some new brake pads and rotors to once again help with stopping after we upgrade to that supercharger. We want this thing to be able to stop fast if it's going to go fast. The front of the truck was finally put back together, and it was a fight. It took way longer than it should have, and if I was smart, I would have taken that as a sign of things to come. But more on that in a future video. Now with the front end fully reassembled, it was time to move on to the rear end of the truck, which meant installing that pesky one-piece exhaust so that we could install the rear end and get this thing back into a rolling chassis. Once again, it was time to call upon our certified forklift driver, and it was time to put that engine back into the frame. Now, it was very easy to pull that engine transmission transfer case out of the old frame. When putting it into this one, it was anything but easy. It was a major fight, and if I had been using my head, I would have known that something was wrong and it was a sign of major problems to come. But more on that in a future video. We were able to get the engine fully installed into our frame and bolted up, and that is where we are going to bring this video to a close.
All right, that was a lot of work that we just got done. We've got everything swapped over to our new used frame, and with the engine back in, we're ready to start doing the fun part, installing our Magnuson supercharger. But that is gonna be in the next video, so you guys will have to stick around and check that out when it goes live. And unfortunately, that is going to do it for today. I want to thank all you guys for watching. As always, if you guys like what you saw, don't forget to smash that like button. Leave some comments and thoughts down below, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you guys don't miss the next video in our Tundra build series. Also, Also, be sure to go give some love to my Twitch channel. Go give that a follow. And don't forget that I am streaming on both Twitch and YouTube. You guys aren't going to want to miss it. We're going to have some cool live streams. And I do plan on doing some cool live streams on YouTube, especially for all of you guys who've supported me from the very beginning. But with that being said, I want to thank everyone for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video.